Hi, this is Alfonso Cordero again. We were talking last video about the employee-employer relationship and the different requirements. And don't forget, it's very important that you make sure that whoever you employee is somebody that have legal documents to work in the U.S. That's very important because as employer, you can be fined with those if you happen to have people that are not authorized to work in the U.S. Let's talk a little bit about the forms that are required. We talk about the deductions, the withholding, the Medicare, Social Security, federal withholding tax, unemployment tax, federal and state. On the filing requirements, those monies that you're taking out from the government, from the employee, you have to send it to the government. When you do that, that is called tax 941. And the reason for that is because you're going to prepare a form which is called Form 941, to basically summarize to the government, this is how much money I withheld, this is how much money I pay in salaries, this is how much money I pay in Social Security salary and in Medicare salary. And at the end, there's a total which have to equal to the amount of deposits that you made during that period. And the periods are quarters. The year is a calendar year. For payroll, when we set the year, fiscal year is the same as a calendar year. That means runs from January 1st to December 31st every single year. And then divide that in quarters. And first quarter will be the first 3 months, January, February, March. Second quarter is April, May, and June, and so forth to December, fourth quarter. So when we talk about quarters, we're going to be talking in that way. And you need to file Form 941 every quarter. You need to also file Form UCT6. And these forms, the UCT6 is to establish the unemployment, how much salary you pay to each individual, and you have to list the individual's Social Security name and the amount of salary for that quarter. And in the first page, you're going to summarize how much of those salaries are really taxable for for unemployment purposes, because some of them are exempt. The unemployment, you only pay that on the first $7,000. So if you have somebody that you're going to pay $12,000, $1,000 a month, is going to be taxable only the first 7 months. When he reached the $7,000 benchmark, then the excess is exempt. If you are an established company, you know that you pay that unemployment on the first quarter, you pay high, you pay a lot of money. On the second quarter, a little bit less. And in third and fourth quarter, usually you pay either zero or you pay a lower amount because most of the employees went over the $7,000 benchmark. So that's as far as the unemployment, state and federal. Then at the end of the year, you're required to file Form W4 and Form W3. The Form W4 is the one that you have to give to every employee, and that happened in January usually. By the 31st day of January, you're supposed to have that form available for the employees. As a matter of business, most of the employers mail this form to the employees, but it is the responsibility of the employees to let the business know if they move, because they are going to be mailing forms to the last known address, whatever that is. But if that address is wrong, therefore the information is never going to get to you. And then you're going to start receiving letters later from the government that you didn't include X amount of dollars on your tax return. So if the employee move, is his responsibility or her responsibility to send them a memo, letter, a little note to the employer and say, this is my new address for mailing of my documents at the end of the year. As an employer, what you need to do is to have the form available for the employee. It is customary to mail them, but you need to have them available. And if it's returned to you, just keep it in a safe place, and that people know that, so when ex-employees start calling, they can direct to the right person, human resources or whoever will be the custodian of those forms, so they can bring those forms up to speed and give it to them, and they can prepare their own taxes. So that's basically the requirement you have. You have to file certain quarterly reports, usually Form 941 and Form UCT6, and then you have to file some year-end tax forms. You have to file the 940 for the federal unemployment tax, and also you have to file information returns. That's what they are called, which is the form W-2 and W-3. And you have to have it done by the end of January, even though you have until the 15th of February to send it to the government, and you send those to the Social Security Administration. Basically what happened is the Social Security Administration received the forms and processed them, and they then transfer via computer. They give a master tape to the IRS, and then the IRS will match with the information that they have. Remember, you send to the IRS the quarterly reports, the I-41s. You send into the Social Security Administration the summary at the end of the year, W-2s and W-3, and they have to match, because in reality, the W-3 is the sum of the 4 941s. Whatever total you have from the 941s, if you add it up, it has to be the same information that you have on the W-3. So that's very important. It's a quick calculation that you should do before you send those forms out to make sure that everything ties up. Otherwise, you're going to start receiving documents from the government, correspondence saying that amounts are not equal, you have a difference, there's a discrepancy, and you need to spend time and effort in trying to reconstruct something that happened a year or two ago. So to avoid that is you do a reconciliation to make sure you have all of them covered. So that's about employee-employer relationship. Don't forget to make sure all your employees are authorized to work in the U.S. It's nothing wrong to ask them to recertify, to give them a new form I-9. I need you to complete this again. I need to have it on my files. You can do it a company policy. That's fine with that. As long as you do it for everybody, there's no discrimination issue. But you need to do it. You need to comply with those requirements and make sure you have all the forms in file. Otherwise, if you happen to be employing somebody that is not authorized, you may be subject to penalties and fines that you don't want, and they can go up to jail. So you don't want to do that. That's not what you started the business with. So see you later.